Good morning. Welcome to day 54, May 30th, 2024. We're at 9,000 feet. We had a great night's sleep. We're the only ones here. There were a couple of guys who passed by 7:30, kept going. And that was all I saw or heard. I'm so happy to have my thermometer back. It's 54 degrees in the tent right now, so it'll probably be in the mid 40s once I get outside. Looking at today's possibilities, it's going to come down to the snow conditions and the water sources. So there is probably decent site about 16 miles away that's snow-free for camping, and there's water. There is another site about 18 miles away, but apparently that water source is still covered in snow, at least as of 5 or 6 days ago. And then the extended goal, feeling really good, about 20 miles away, there's a seasonal stream and some camping. And this is all before the first pass, Mulkey Pass and Trail Pass, where they're still going to be completely snow covered. So just want to get as close as those to possible for tomorrow morning for good firm snow. So the other thing is about, I think, 6 miles away. We might get a little self-service for a mile or two, and I definitely want some, just to update the far out comments to see if, snow conditions have changed, if that spring is now available, just things like that. So, and just a quick hello to Sarah, but really for the far out comments, because everyone's like going into Sierra now with no cell service, you're not getting those up-to-date comments about conditions on things. So we were spoiled. That's one thing about the desert. There was plenty of cell service, and we were spoiled about the conditions on the trail, water sources and now everything is like a week to 2 weeks old now that we're getting into the Sierras where there's not a whole lot of cell service. So that's the morning update. I just made my second cup of coffee. Gonna start getting camp broken down, and we'll check in a bit. Okay, still unpacking. The one other thing, just logistics wise, it's always in the back of my head now. How far are we from our next resupply from this spot? So our resupply is at the Vermilion Valley Resort, the VVR, and we are about 151 trail miles away from that. That is not including a side trip to Mount Whitney, which will add a day, and the detour around the down bridge, which could add a day to 3 days depending on the route I decide to take. So even if I'm lucky enough to average 15 miles a day, that's 10 days to get the VVR without the 2 detours. So then it's 11 days, 12 days, maybe up to 14 days. And then if I can't average 15 miles a day because of snow or something, then it could even be more days. So I've got a lot of food to account for all that. It won't necessarily be a hot meal every night, but jerky or, we're early on, so kind of rationing a little bit. And as we get closer to VVR and have a better idea of how long it's actually going to take, we'll go from there. But yeah, something to consider. It would be nice to go into Lone Pine or Bishop, 2 of my favorite towns in the world. But I kind of want to do this all in one stretch without going into town. So, because that's the style I like to do. So we're going to go for it. All right, so around 8:45, we've been steadily climbing, but the grades haven't been too bad. We're at 9,999 feet, so we're going to go back over 10,000 in a little bit. And I think we go all the way up to like 10,600 before we start heading down again. There's a really nice viewpoint coming up in about a mile of the Owens Valley. And then if I don't get a cell signal there, the next mile or so, there's potential for cell phone service. So that's what I'm looking forward to take the next break. Taking a quick pack break with a nice view of Olancha Peak right in front of us. All right, I think we're topping out somewhere around 10,700 feet. There are a bunch of nice campsites up here with no water, obviously, but hopefully I can get a cell signal up here. We'll see. All right, so I took a little snack break. Unsuccessful in getting cell service, but then something very cool happened. A PCTA, Pacific Crest Trail, I guess ridge runner you'd call them. She stopped by, we chatted, showed her my permit. She had hang tags if I needed one. And it turns out her and her partner, who's from New Hampshire, they were the same two who gave me my hang tag at Campo all the way back on April 7th. So that's cool. They transitioned from greeting people at the terminus to actually going out, and she, in addition to getting data for Thru-Hikers, she's recording blowdowns, snow conditions, all that kind of stuff. So very cool. I'm glad I ran into her. So it seems like maybe we're going to be going downhill for a bit, which is nice. Still debating on where I want to end up for the day. I think what I'll do is we'll get to some water in a few hours. I'll do some electrolytes and then come up with a couple of viable alternatives. So if I knew there wasn't going to be any snow for like my 18 to 20 mile day, I'd probably go for it, but that may slow me down a bit. I may be more comfortable doing just a 16-mile day today. We'll see. We'll see what time of day it is. Gonna kind of wing it a little bit. Just make sure wherever we're at, we've got plenty of water. So, yeah, very cool. All right, I'll check in a bit. All right, it's around 12:30. So we've been going for about 6.5 hours. There's the tiniest trickle of snow melt coming down the trail there. So I was able to scoop some up, have some electrolytes here, take a little break, and take a look at our options for camping tonight. All right, it's around 12:30. I don't know if I've got another 18-mile day in me. I may not go that far. Past probably 5 people camped as I was climbing. So they're behind me somewhere. And also there's one solo male hiker that I have not seen on a trail since way back where the wind farm was, where they had dollar sodas. We were leapfrogging that day, so before Mission Creek, and I saw him at Candy Meadows South, just passing through, and we're leapfrogging again today. So it's been weeks. And then the other people, they were kind of camped. I didn't know if I recognized them or not. So there is some camping at about 16 miles in today. I just will have to do a water carry for about a mile, and it's a bit of climbing. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing today. Because I'm doing the side trip to Whitney, it kind of messes up timing anyway, because I'm going to have to camp and stop well before, a 16, 18, 20 mile day to set up a base camp for Whitney, because you can only go so far away from the PCT legally. So I'm going to be a bit away from Whitney. So we'll look at that. I think probably 2 nights from now might be ready for that. And I remember from Sarah and I coming in a Cottonwood Pass last September, there's a really big climb from the Rock Creek campsite. Who knows, maybe I'll end up there tomorrow night, but I'm not sure what all the mileage is for any of that quite yet. Just, I think a 16-mile day today is decent. Probably be done a little earlier today. And all that is just fine by me. I did want to enjoy my time in the Sierras because it's just the best place in the world. So, as long as I had the food for it, why not? All right, we had to leave the trail for a moment. We have a stream here, not too far from the trail. We'll load up on water here and then go for a tent site about a mile away. All right, it's getting close to 3 o'clock. We've been climbing to our campsite. We're at about 10,200 feet. We gotta go to 10,400 feet. We got about another half mile to go. So slow and steady. All right, just checking out the area a little bit. Another 100, 150 feet north is a whole other wide open area with big rocks and boulders. The main thing I just want is flat and shade. And then when you're in a site like this, there's a bigger chance of people getting right on top of you. Whereas there's a spot on the other side of the trail. It's more like on some duff, but it's got great shade. I think I might go there. This spot is also pretty good, but I think I'm going to go for the shady site where no one can be right on top of me. All right, it is 4 o'clock already. We've got our tent set up. We're above 10,000 feet, and just based on last night, where it was like 33 degrees outside and 42 in the tent, I'm putting the fly on. I think it's going to get chilly again up here, but it'll be nice. We've got nice shade so far. I think there's one other backpacker up here with his dog at one of the established sites. Very cool. And we're just going to hang out, eat, drink, and get organized for tomorrow. All right, getting to be close to 5 o'clock. I think we're going to wrap it up here. We did just shy of 16 miles, and that last mile was a climb with probably 8 liters of water, because I wanted to have soup and mashed potatoes tonight, and water and coffee and all that good stuff. So I brought a lot of water up. It's a dry camp. We're camped at about 10,400 feet, so like 1,000 feet higher than last night, which is why I had the rain fly on. I think it will get chilly up here. And yeah, it was a great day. Have to figure out how far we're going to go tomorrow, knowing that we are going to have to stop and do a base camp for Whitney. I think that is well over 20 miles away, but not 30 miles, so that's going to mean a short day of hiking, or it's just not going to work out. Like 2 15-mile days is I'm gonna overshoot that base camp. So what are you gonna do? Oh darn, I'm gonna have to spend more quality afternoon time in the forest. Darn it. Okay, so it was a great day, and we'll see you in the morning.